But please, just give us a break. Please just give us a break. I don't know how much more I can take. I've been in this for 15 years, and I've never, ever had such anxiety about waiting for McDonald's drive-thru food.
So what you just heard there was part of a now viral video of an officer named Stacy from Richmond Hill, Georgia, freaking out because she didn't get her McDonald's Egg McMuffin fast enough. This is not a joke. This is not a parody. People are noting this as the new Officer Karen, who's mad that she had to wait a little bit longer for her Egg McMuffin. Now, I'm going to play you the rest of the entire clip, and then we're going to jump in with the context a little bit.
Decided to come to the McDonald's at...
So what you can see here is somebody who's clearly frustrated, and I get it. Sometimes things don't go your way, but she decided to make this video about how this is really bad, and she's a police officer, and she ordered this in advance, and it should be ready by now. And that's all fine and good. You know, it was stupid to create the video, but then she goes into this tirade about how the police officers are being mistreated, how police officers are facing such high anxiety right now, and this is part of it. The fact that they can't get their Egg McMuffins in such an expeditious manner is the reason why she's crying and breaking down in this moment. And I think why a lot of people took this badly relates in part to what I spoke about yesterday regarding the police officers at the Shake Shack in New York. The police have this undeniable victimhood complex. Again, for a group as powerful as the police are, and as privileged as the police are, and as honored as the police are by the social and political and economic elite, they still see themselves as this victim. They see themselves as the victim of poor people, of marginalized people, of service workers that make minimum wage or slightly above it. And they don't actually see themselves as powerful people except when convenient. So they're simultaneously the one thin blue line saving us all from chaos. And then on the other hand, they're these weak little flowers that think everyone's out to get them, and that they freak out when they have to wait a few minutes for their McMuffin. It's a real cognitive dissonance we see from the police on an individual basis, like here with Officer Stacy, Karen, whatever, and with regard to policing as an institution through their unions and associations and just the wider forces all over the United States. And I think a lot of people are also angry about this because it shows that if this is what's causing police anxiety, then they really don't have any problems at all. A lot of people were noting that, black people, other minorities, the sorts of people that go through systemic, force, excessive force from police, have far more important and terrifying things to worry about each and every day than their Egg McMuffins being delayed, or having to wait a few minutes in the drive-thru, or being asked to pull aside so your order can be prepared to keep the line moving. They have much deeper things to worry about. And making this video and putting it online, to try and get sympathy, to try and get those workers in trouble, to try and put this particular McDonald's franchise branch on blast, just shows the absolute privilege and the absolute lack of struggle that this lady obviously has in her day-to-day life. It's as simple as that. And even if you go beyond the most marginalized people in the world, there's a current economic crisis happening for millions, tens of millions of working and middle class people. Even people that generally have a stable income have lost that income. They're on unemployment insurance if they're lucky enough to get it. The $1,200 stimulus check that the United States has given out to everyone obviously isn't enough. So there are tons of people of every background worrying how their utility bill is going to be paid, how their mortgage is going to be paid, how their food is going to be covered. All of these sorts of things are real legitimate worries for people all over the United States, even more than normal. They would absolutely trade places with you to wait 3 or 5 or however many more minutes for your Egg McMuffin. That's why this has resonated with people. And what's really interesting here is originally, at least, this was made viral by a Trump supporter trying to make it look like she was the sympathetic figure here. I'm going to read you that tweet. This is from Anne. She's a person on Twitter, and she says, Stacy, who has been a cop for 15 years, went to McDonald's. She paid for it in advance, and this is how she gets treated for being a cop. Sad emoji, frowny emoji. Come on, America. We are better than this. She's not being treated badly here. You know, I haven't worked at McDonald's for a long time, but in high school, almost 20 years ago now, starting to show my age, I worked at McDonald's. And I worked in drive-thru at least some of the time. And it was common practice when somebody had an order that was just about to be ready, but you didn't have that particular item ready for whatever reason, to ask them to pull out of the drive-thru and go wait in the parking lot. And that allowed you to serve the people behind them whose items were ready. So for instance, maybe the McMuffins aren't ready, but the person behind her just ordered a coffee. They just ordered a coffee. And so you can get that person their coffee, and then when the McMuffin is ready, you can bring it out to them. So even in the realm of, is this a bad service experience? It isn't. From my experience as a customer and a worker at McDonald's, this is something that happens fairly frequently. And I have never, ever in my experience, seen someone cry over it. Ever. I've seen some people be disgruntled, but I've never seen someone cry over it. And I've certainly never seen a police officer take to social media to air grievances against fast food workers making minimum wage. So that's why this has gone viral. This, of course, is nothing compared to what we've been seeing from police in terms of their horrible actions. This is just a person that looks a bit silly on the internet. But the symbolism of it all, the out-of-touch nature of the police, the fact that they don't understand the struggles of poor people, of working-class people, of unemployed people, and of marginalized people, that's why this has deeply resonated with people. And that's why I don't think this clip is going to be going away anytime soon.